Thanks for sticking with us. Time now for an update on our fellow Americans out on the island of Maui. Let's be real, I'm going to say it like it is, who have been all but forgotten by the Biden regime.
Yes.
Just like the folks in East
And
Palestine,
they voted
Ohio.
for him, the stupid fuckers.
After 6 long months, Maui police releasing their findings on the probe into the response to those deadly wildfires. The study shows what we've known since the disaster struck. A perfect storm of severe weather fed the flames. And then a lot of human error. Understaffed police force faced communications and equipment problems, we're told, as well as limited roadways that became impassable during the inferno. According to the report, only 100 people were killed. Really? That's the final number? 6,600 acres scorched, thousands of homes, businesses, buildings reduced to ashes. I don't know where that number came from. I thought so many more people were missing. The wind fed the fire. It became the worst natural disaster in Hawaii's history and the deadliest American wildfire in over 100 years. The brand new 98-page report outlines nearly 36 recommendations when it comes to future disaster preparedness. Wish you would have had them in place beforehand. Recommendations like earpieces to ensure good communication during hazardous conditions like high winds so they can hear each other. Sensors that could detect smoke from a fire in real time. Additional training and a unified emergency command center under one person so they all know what the hell they're doing. The study comes as residents and independent journalists are accusing the government of slow walking the Maui fire cleanup efforts. They are. There's reports of Maui County officials refusing to let residents clear their own property so they can try and rebuild before they go broke waiting.
They want to take the land.
There's also claims the government is only letting their contractors into the burn zone, and at this rate, they say it'll take several years to even finish cleaning up before locals can even start rebuilding. Several years.
Wow, they're trying to take their land.
Joining us now to sound off about the new report and the snail's pace at which the recovery and rebuilding efforts are taking place.
I don't know, I'm building my own.
Maui, he's the founder and CEO of the Maui Brewing Company. So a local, a resident, and a business owner.
There you go.
Garrett Marrero back on the program. Garrett, how about it, when you read that report, I'm sure you did, like most locals out there, did it upset you as much as it did me? Because I'm sitting there going, those, to me, sound like common sense things on an island thousands of miles away in the middle of the ocean where fires have been known to spark. You would have some of those things already in place in 2023, for God's sakes. It ain't 1963.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Dan, thanks for having me again. I think you hit it right on the head. I mean, everybody back home is like, I can't believe we're actually even reading some of these recommendations.
That's a third world country.
To their credit, the MPD did a lot of work. I mean, these guys were, there's a lot of rumors out there, but these guys are literally, while their homes were burning, they're out there risking their lives to help our
oh yeah, I'm not talking about the boots on the ground.
There, but
I'm talking about the bureaucrats in charge.
Totally, that's exactly it. The bureaucrats never gave our law enforcement and first responders the tools that they needed to fight this fire. Namely, one,
they are
water.
the police.
We have access to
arrest the police if they don't, if they're corrupt.
Potable water and fresh water, but as far as I know, salt water puts fires out too. Having a boat that we could fight fires from the water, having something more than just the helicopters like a belly dumper. We've had so many fires in the last several years, and even a big one in 2018. How come we weren't preparing then, knowing that this disaster was inevitable, that we were going to have
this was a setup, huh?
In a dry time with a fire.
This is a setup.
Lines that are overhead, which most communities that I see these days being built, all power goes underground. It's just the right way to do it to ensure safety.
What about what about earpieces? Talk about a small thing, right? If you're out and the wind's whipping 60, 70 miles an hour and you're trying to talk on a radio, you can't hear. I've got one right here. These are about 60, 70 bucks. They're called an IFB, internal feedback, right? This is what the cops and Secret Service, everybody wears. You can get one of these online pretty cheap these days. You're telling me they didn't think after all the years out there with the high winds you guys
it's a setup, Dan.
so that fire and police could communicate that your guys need
Look at the mayor. He's from Las Vegas. How the hell he's in there being the mayor of Maui?
That's a super simple one that I couldn't even believe was in there. The communications
corruption,
right?
corruption.
We have
God
very
damn it.
antiquated systems on Maui and in Hawaii. And I know some of the islands are taking the effort now, after seeing what happened in Maui, to install much better comms. you know, we had friends from Motorola send us radios, and you know, most of the time in that first week of the fires or the aftermath, you know, we had better comms than the police officers did because our friends at Motorola sent us $40,000 of radios
embarrassing.
that we were handing out to the population.
See,
You know, so I mean,
but that's the bureaucrats. That's your state and county officials not going to the bureaucrats and saying, we need more money to buy this equipment to stay up to date. And that puts you
Yeah,
guys
exactly.
at risk, which it did. Let's talk about the part of the cleanup that I talked about here in the beginning. Hearing from a lot of folks, independent journalists out there that I know and trust, that the cleanup and rebuilding efforts are being stifled a bit. So I don't want to go too deep and act like some big conspiracy theorists say they're doing it on purpose to wait them out so they can take the land and build what they want. But maybe I will sound that way. It sounds
Yes.
like they're trying to wait locals out, and they'll be out of cash. If you've got to sit there and pay for something that you can't live in,
Mortgage,
build that,
taxes.
right, and you have no job or whatever,
Hey,
and you don't let me
RV.
rebuild my home for 2, 3, 4 years, I'm
RV,
gonna run out of
bud.
money and probably move. And then who's going to
Talk about
swoop in
an
and
RV.
buy that land for next to nothing, and then develop some big, huge high-rise instead of the beautiful Lahaina that you had? I was there 2 weeks before the fire broke out. I felt so, just horrified when it happened. So what about those rumors? What are you hearing there, Garrett?
Yeah, you know, and I think that's what they are, rumors. Unfortunately, I wish they were that sophisticated that our local government had this grand master plan
No,
to wait
the
out.
honkies
the
are running
locals.
our
Now, I'm sorry,
state,
they're just not
Lahaina.
prepared. They're just not experienced.
from
and they're
Vegas.
just not equipped to
He
handle
don't belong
this
over
type
there.
of an emergency and the rebuilding behind it. So it's I would say you could dispel the rumors simply in that it just shows the incompetency of the people in place in charge.
It's
to
a
actually get
planned
this
goddamn-
underway. I mean, we talk about this all the time. I mean, you have government do something versus private industry do something.
Exactly.
And you look at the exorbitant costs it costs them to do it over a really long time. When if we were running it like a business, we'd be getting action right away, and we'd be doing it faster, cheaper, and probably better without all the bureaucracy involved.
Oh, if you guys were doing it, we'd probably see buildings going up already. The dirt would have already been cleaned, the soil, taken away, and you'd be starting rebuilding homes like yesterday.
Yeah, and that would be everybody's goal. I think unfortunately there are a lot of competing interests. Which way it should be done,
Right.
where
Hey,
should we start first? Where should the
no.
debris be stored? Are we taking the precautions necessary to ensure that our water stays clean and that we don't have runoff into the ocean? These are